What up, y'all? It's your host, Blake Anthony, on Sports Talk49 with none other than the legend himself, Mr. Big Game, James Cannida. We're going to talk about some topics in the NFL, firings, interviews, comments, concerns. We're going to talk about all that and see what James got since he played for Tampa Bay and has some insight on some of these coaches and stuff. So we'll hear what James got to say. James, how you doing?
Blake, what's going on, bro?
Business status quo. We're in the playoff season. Everybody, Tampa's at home, so you're kind of looking forward to the off season for once. And so we're looking at all these head coaches, offensive coordinators, seeing where it go with the carousel, who stays, who goes. So we'll start with the home team. Start with the Bucs. We'll start with that. Talking about Todd Bowles staying. What? I've talked to a bunch of people and they have different opinions on it. Mm-hmm. What is your opinion on Bowles being retained for the 26th season? What is your opinion on it?
You know what, man? For all the time that this has come up over the last couple of seasons that it was time for Todd Bowles to go, I think this is the first time that I agreed, and I was like, you know what? It may be time for the Buccaneers to move on to someone else. And not that because I don't think Todd Bowles is capable. I just saw so many times this season where I thought that no adjustments were made, no changes were made, and it looked like it was getting to a point where players and coaches were kind of pointing the fingers at each other. In this game, everyone's got to be on board, and everyone's got to be on the same page. And when you get to a point where players and coaches aren't seeing eye to eye, and it starts to be rumbling everywhere in that locker room, then sometimes it's necessary for change. So, this is the first time out of all these talks, man, where I'm kind of like, you know what? It might be time to move on.
Yeah, some people say maybe the voice kind of went stagnant. Maybe it's because, Bowles brought in all his guys and they didn't, bring some type of outside sources. So maybe Jason Light or the Glazers wanted them to hire somebody else and they trusted him with his staff. I know there's a lot of questions that you'll never get the answers to that happens with the front office situations and stuff like that, which, kind of made me think something like that because you fired all the assistants and you just kept, I think you kept Larry Foote, linebackers coach. And I think it was just about it who they kept, linebackers coach. And everybody else has pretty much got the axe. Damn. And then you have Rachaad White and Ronde Barber speaking out on it, stuff like that. There's stuff going on with that. But I was talking to Cheedy. Cheedy was talking about this. He talks about that people are just tired of seeing him, and they're just ready to see something new. Maybe they just want to, I don't know. They say he's just not, Cheedy says he's not, I guess like that image that you see as a head coach because the way he is or whatever. And it kind of, I guess the people are just tired of seeing him and they're ready to see something else. I mean, what do you think about all that?
Now, one thing to me is I'm all results driven. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't give a damn what it looks like visually. If a coach can come in and win and get things done, and then that's how you want it to be, and that's what they should be judged on, right? To start, my biggest problem is starting the season out 6-2, and then hit that skid and slump the way they did. And Blake, I saw things in this Todd Bowles defense, which we always give him credit for being a great defensive coach, making things happen to where there were the guys on islands, guys continually look lost all the time. Now, if it's not coming from him and it was coming from his assistant coaches, he had to fire them, that he did the right thing. The lack of pass rush. How many times have we had this conversation over the past few seasons? Countless. To where we always relying on a blitz to get pressure on the quarterback, and you cannot do that in this league, in this day and age, all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to keep running zone blitzes where Yaya Diaby's got to go curl the flat to cover, and we're bringing a defensive back to go put the pressure on. Like, those are the kind of things that got me with him. As far as like a fresh face, you're never going to satisfy all the masses. I've seen some things that you guys that you've been posting in Cannon Fire podcast and different guys are posting to where sometimes they're right. When you're in a Buccaneers stadium, shit, you don't even know who the home team is sometimes. Like, so what kind of fans do we really have? You know what I mean? Like, are they real fans? Are they just fair weather to where things aren't great? Let's blame the one thing we know, and that's the coach.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about that. I mean, we talked about the fans, about intelligence fan base between 1 year to the other. Jamal, we talked about all that. You got fans in the stadium that are screaming when your team is on offense. I'm like, do you guys have no awareness that you're helping
Like,
the other team's defense by doing
quiet.
that? Every other stadium can figure that out, but Tampa can't figure that out for some reason. So I get your point on that. And then, like you said, we'll get into that with Rachaad's comments. I got those clips about Bowles and about the fans and stuff like that. But you said about the rise and then the fall. That's kind of what happened. You went 6-2. You skated by late in a lot of games and got some W's. I mean, that's just football. That's what happens.
That's NFL football. Yeah,
that's NFL football. You could say that same story for about 30 other teams in the league that won on maybe one possession games and things like that. It's the game. You got one lucky break that the other guy didn't get. Did it mean you were exactly better that day? Not. You just got the break that the other guy didn't.
Right.
But the collapse, it was a bad collapse. It's a pretty bad collapse, and usually people get fired after that. But it's a multitude of things. And I thought if they were to move on from Bowles, then you would have to share some of that blame with Light and Baker Mayfield. I said all that.
That is a great point.
They all share blame in that. We've said, I know Bowles he credits himself for the defense, and he told Jason Light he'll take a back seat to drafting offensive players because he said we got to score points in this league. He said so. Go on ahead, like drafting Emeka Ibuka. Ended up everybody thought was scratching their head at first, but once the season started, it seemed like a pretty damn good pick with Mike not being around, Godwin not 100%, Jalen McMillan getting hurt in the preseason. Yeah. So had you not had him, that offense may have looked entirely different. And then on top of another position, what we talked about before, I said was the weakest position on the team besides pass rush was tight end. You didn't score a touchdown with the tight end to damn near week 15 in the season.
Yeah.
It's like areas that they just keep neglecting on the team, especially defense, the edge rusher. It's like defense. You're trying to thrift shop everybody. You're trying to spin the wood tires on Rashad Hassan Reddick was an epic failure. We love him personally, but when the game's on the line, he's not going to beat nobody off the edge and make the play. Cansey was out, so he kind of has an asterisk with the 2025 season. So you're not getting anything out of Logan Hall. You're definitely not getting anything out of Chris Braswell. So you got guys on this defensive line. I don't know where your help's coming from other than Vita Vea.
Right, which is mostly just pushing the pocket. Vita's not going to be known as a pass rusher. We know that, and you expect that. It's rough, and it was rough to watch. And then, in the secondary, you got guys like Taki Smith that as soon as he gets going, take a step back for the injuries. Yeah. Antoine Winfield can't do everything by himself. Zion McCullum had me shaking my head and throwing hats almost every Sunday, watching him back there sometime. But you're right. I like the point that you made as far as some of the blame has to be made on the general manager, and some of the blame has to be put on the quarterback, which honestly, I think after that Rams game, I think Baker Mayfield played hurt for a long time. If you're watching him backup. Again, why was Teddy Bridgewater the best option?
Save money. Because they're still hurting in cap situation from the Brady era. We're still coming out of that. Yeah. I don't think we owe Brady any more money off of that, but they're still hurting from that era, which I'm not mad at them for. You went all in to win a Super Bowl, and you did.
Right.
Mission was accomplished. But on the flip side, I also made another point. I don't think I posted it anywhere. But things like this happen where you have a setback in a season after you win a Super Bowl. There was a couple teams that did that. Recentest one was the Rams. When the Rams won the Super Bowl after the Bucs in 2021, they kind of fell apart. I think they fell off
the cliff. Yeah, they went all in to win that thing, and it just woof.
Yeah, they won 6 or 4 games or whatever that was. The next season, did they ask for Sean McVay to get fired? No, they retooled.
You're right.
You retooled. Aaron Donald retired. Then you went and read up that pass rush. You went and got Fisk. You went and got Jaron Verse. You went and re-up that defense and got the players that you needed because the Rams are known for having a pass rush. Just Tampa doesn't do the same thing when it comes to the defensive line for some reason. Just don't get it. I mean, they've tried, but it's just never on the right guy. It's like you draft Joe Tryon Shoyinka that sat out of a COVID year. We all know that story. Didn't pan out. Like I said, it's just – and then we draft these guys in the later rounds. They just don't really – where you get some production out of him, but he's never like that late round pick like a Max Crosby that everybody's talking about getting in the offseason. But we don't know if that's going to be any truth to that. But they just can't hit for some reason on edge rushers.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point. The Rams did it with the philosophy that their general manager knew how to carry out and knew how to execute. And that's what was missing. That's what's missing in our plans. Like you said, it's been so many misses to where it's like, well, damn, how many draft picks can I use at these positions year after year after year? Because I need to land one so then I can address another part of the team. And that's what's going to catch up to hurt. And then everybody's talking about Max Crosby. But
he's 28.
He doesn't really fit the Todd Bowles defensive scheme either, though. That's what a lot of people don't realize. He's a true 4-3 defensive end. So if you do bring him in, are you going to stand him up and ask him to do something that he hasn't really done ever? To be successful at it now, would I love to have Max right? Yeah. But at the same time, is the defensive strategy going to change? Is the formation going to change a little bit? And
question is it the right choice? Is it the right choice? Is the question. It sounds good, but is it the right choice?
Right.
Like you said, you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. You're trying to make an apple into an orange.
Right. And
I mean, if Max can do it from standing, I mean, I'm sure there'll be times where he will have his hand in the dirt. Can he do it? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, that'd be up to them to decide if they decide to make that decision. I'm not up for like really giving away draft picks. Like if you were going to do that, then I wouldn't have been mad you gave away a first round pick for Michael Parsons. That's the kind of guy you do that for.
Yes. And a hybrid type guy that can actually do it because he was drafted as a stand-up guy that's adjusted to put his hand down. I mean, I don't know. It just
if you're gonna give a pick, it has to be that kind of guy. Then I won't be mad at it because you don't have to take a chance on a draft pick. Essentially, you took a guy that you know who's a Pro Bowl player versus taking a chance. I wouldn't have been mad if you gave up a first round pick for that.
Right.
You know, but Max, there's no telling that talent transitions over to Tampa.
Right.
There's no telling if that happens.
And how much you gonna get, how much you gonna lose, or how much you willing to give up and lose to roll the dice on that. That's not a gamble I would make. And I know I did some posts on my People Perspective show a couple times back back early in the season when I thought the Buccaneers should make a move for Max Crosby. And the more I thought about it and looked at it, I was like, this is just not the best.
It's going to cost.
Yeah. It'll be another thing that'll set the team back further in the development years they're going to need later on because, everyone keeps saying Baker Mayfield's a bridge quarterback. Well, what's your next quarterback? And what's your plan? There's so many questions to this team, and all the times I give Jason like praise is now some of the times where I think I've got to question a little bit more of the things that he does.
Yeah, he'll make some really, really great decisions, especially he's really good bargain bin shopper for players and
that part is great.
Agent.
Yes,
he's the king of bargain binning and saving money. And when you, like I said, you can't play around with two positions. Can't play around. Well, three. The quarterback. Can't play around with your offensive line, and you can't play around with your defensive line. Right. Everybody who you're watching this, every team you will watch Saturday and Sunday, they can get to the quarterback with 4. Yep. They can get to the quarterback with 4. That's the difference. They can drop back. They can drop back 7 in coverage, and because they don't have to send more than 4. And if you can do that, because as I told y'all before, every offense has 5 eligible pass catchers on every play. And you have 7 defenders. You should be able to cover those guys. Shouldn't have to send anymore. And that's why I don't know, a lot of people may not be football savvy, But that's why sending 4, if you can get to the quarterback with sending 4, is so important because you have 7 guys in coverage to cover 5 pass catchers. And that's if the offense sends out 5 guys.
Right. They could use one in to protect or whatever else. Yeah.
And
dead on.
And I'll spin that into the Bucs offense a little bit, in which Rachaad was fired, rightfully so. I tried to give the guy a little credit because he had a lot of guys out, but when they came back, the offense regressed when they came back. He did better when the guys were injured. And I'm going to tell you why. He stopped giving Bucky the ball in the second half, which I had no idea why he did that in multiple games.
Right.
And as I said earlier, you're leaving your tight end. Your tight end was pretty much non-existent. So like I told you, 5 guys can go out for a pass. So you've left him in the block the whole game. Now you've dropped it to 4. So then you're leaving your back in there. And now you've dropped it to 3. So now you have a 3-man route versus 7 defenders. 7 defenders.
Yeah.
And you wonder why Baker's scrambling around looking for somebody to throw to because there ain't nobody open.
Right.
You have 3 guys running a 3-man route. And you got 7 defenders back there to cover 3 guys. You guys can't really see that on the television because, the television keeps you with the guys, everything up front. But that's what's happening on the back end. I mean, James, you played in defense. That's what's happening on the back end. You got a 3-man route versus 5 to 7 guys in coverage.
Yep.
It's going to be – windows are going to be tight, and there's nowhere to throw. Now, when their offense was rolling, you had the backs that are coming out in the backfield. Now you can pull those middle of the field defenders down to cover the backs, which can open up those passing lanes between the hashes. I mean, that's why it's important to block up front so your guys, your pass catchers, your tight end, and your backs can leak out and create passing lanes. That's why it's important. Everybody's job is important. It's not just one job. Everybody plays a part in the success of a team, and they just weren't. There was just multiple things wrong with the offense and the defense this year.
Yeah. Do you think, and a lot of people, social media is funny because I've read so many different comments about, the Buccaneers are going to interview a great guy and then he's going to get out the building just like Liam Cohen did. Liam Cohen took a better job as a head coach. I know, and I might be jumping the gun a little bit, and Rachaad got fired. I thought that he was going to be another diamond in the rough, like Canales was, and everyone else
he was
thought
going
that
to take
too.
The Miami job when they were 6-2.
The
offense was rolling.
At 6-2, everyone's like, "Ooh,
they were rolling." He called way better games.
The offensive coordinator again.
He was rolling. He was calling better games.
To see him take the step back that he did, I don't
know what happened.
I don't get it. It's almost a little like it was self-sabotage. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And this is not the way for you to further your career. It didn't even look like he said, it didn't look like the same team at all. Now, I know things changed a little bit when Bucky Irving got hurt, but as soon as he got back on the field, you should have gone right back to what was working.
Right back to it. Yep. Sure didn't. That's exactly what happened. He looked like he was the next man up, and then that shit went wayside quickly. Quick.
Yep.
No, you ain't lying. That's what I said. I said that earlier in the year. I said he's probably the next. He's going to take the Miami job. I said if he's moving an offense like this with these guys out, he's going to be the next man up for another job.
Yep.
Oh, shit, that went out the door, and he's out the door, literally fired. He's probably going to coach at college somewhere.
Damn, you don't think he gets back on the NFL offensive staff?
Maybe as an
assistant.
Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't mean he doesn't know football. I mean, maybe he just I don't know whatever happened there. It was a collapse. And and the offense, Jamal said a key part. He said if you want to say anything about the 2025 season or who disappointed the most, it was the offense. Offense has all the firepower. All your stars are on offense. Right. Ain't on defense.
Right.
That's
very true.
All your stars are on offense. All the studs, they are all on offense.
Right.
They'll score only 7 points in like an opening drive and don't do jack shit after that. I mean, there's no excuse for your offense not to score. You spend all your picks on them.
Still can't. You preaching right now, bro. We at church right now. You preaching.
That's where all the stars are. They're all on offense. And you can't score more than one touchdown?
Right. It's puzzling, to say the least.
But everybody's talking about the defense. I'm like, the defense been trash. You don't have no freaking pass rush. That would take a look.
You know what? I think people's biggest misconception is your coach played defensive back. He knows he should know how to coach the defensive back. He should know how to call games. And then where the deficit of play was sometimes. But at the same time, I still need personnel to carry out and execute, and defense is played at 3 levels. And the most important level to that, to me, is always going to be that front level, what a defensive line is. And a lot of people don't see that. It's so many casual fans right now, too, in football. Like I said, so many fans know nothing but, oh, Brady played for the Buccaneers. I like them. Oh, they're not winning, so it must be the head coach. I mean, but it's just that simple. It's just that's how a lot of people look at it. That's how they classify what should or shouldn't be done. And, at the end of the day, especially being a former player, I've never been one to like to sit up and try to call for someone's job. Like, oh, man, they got to go fire them. Like I said, it was times this year where just Bowles seemed so out of it. I was like, dude, they need a change. And I just think that sometimes what he's doing is falling on deaf ears. I think that he's lost the player sometimes. I'm hoping I'm wrong with it since he's coming back. I'm hoping that's not the case, but that's just what it seemed like a lot of times watching those games.
I don't know if it was the three-year extension with Light and Bowles or something else was happening behind the scenes, because who hasn't said anything this entire time? Jason Light hasn't said one damn word this whole off season. Not one damn word that I know of. Right. Not one damn word.
I haven't seen anything, but he said it.
Yeah. Like I said, that makes me think maybe something else was going on. Like I said, there's tons of stuff that you'll never have the answers for. The Browns organization, when everybody kept getting on Stefanski, a lot of these guys that work for 4-letter networks, they won't say what they really want to say. I think it wasn't Kevin Stefanski with the whole Shedeur Sanders thing. I think it was upper brass decisions that was going on, and Stefanski was just a scapegoat, in my opinion, because a lot of that shit didn't make any sense what was happening. If you was going to roll with Dylan Gabriel, then why the hell did you even draft Shedeur Sanders to begin with?
Right.
And then take him out on drives and then do it. It just didn't make any sense.
Right.
This whole year in Cleveland didn't make any sense. I don't think it was all Stefanski. I think there was more going on to it than that. Lauren Holt, he got fired. That's just, I knew it was going to happen, but somebody had to fall on the sword for it.
Mm-hmm.
Rachaad's comments. Let's get in that. We were talking about decisions and players and stuff like that. You said you didn't see it. I got 2 of them. We'll go into one and then we'll go into the other. So we'll go into what you're talking about, Bowles on players and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play this one. I don't think a lot of people seen it, but everybody's jumping on it. So that's why I'll never trust Tampa media. I've been said a lot of them are corrupted and they have narratives and bias because I work for myself. So they got to do what somebody tells them to do. I don't have to. I can tell you how I feel. So I think a lot of that happens. So when you hear what Rachaad actually says versus what everybody else says are 2 different. So here I'm gonna play it.
So I'm not trying to, I know because people clip this or whatever, but it is what it is. I'm just being real. I do feel like Coach Bowles, nothing wrong with it, but I do feel like it would be easier on him if he, I'm speaking obviously, me speaking, but kind of obviously on his situation. But I do think he should let somebody else call defense and he just be a head coach. I do feel like he'd probably be better off by doing that, so he can focus on really just the head coaching and head coach job and just trusting. You know what I'm saying? He got the right defensive staff and things like that. When you've been a DC or even like OCs, like, when they get that head coaching job or most, offensive-minded head coaches, when they get that head coaching job, like even Sean McVay and them like that, it's kind of tough. You know what I'm saying? I understand it to give that play calling up. But I do think it would make his life more easier. That's just me.
You want this first or you want me to jump in first?
I've said this forever. Not that you can't do it, but we all know that the head coach, honestly, is just the general manager of the football team, the coaches and the players and everything else. You're there to pretty much manage and run, make sure everything's operating and functioning correctly. Now, Todd Bowles can still have his scheme run, and he can even have it implemented the way he wants to. But let someone else come in and do that and focus in on those things that they can look at and see while you're still managing the other parts of the game. I've always said this because, especially when he first got the job, when Bruce Arians stepped down, it was so quick and abrupt. You already have so much on your plate to step into, to take over, to get things running and functioning the right way. That's one less thing you needed to worry about. And I always believe that. Now, he said it so spot on. Those guys that are so used to doing things a certain way, they don't want to give those reins up. They don't want to give the control up. On the offensive side of the ball, I think it's a little bit different. I think for Shanahan and McVay, it's a little bit different than the focus on that defensive side. And not just that. I'm just going to call it how I see it. Todd Bowles is not afforded the same cushioning of mistakes that those other coaches are going to be given. All eyes are going to be on him. Anything that's said and done, or you miss something because you're worried about the defense, it's going to be brought to everyone's attention. I always believe that, not just because it's Todd Bowles. I just always believe that coaches in general, with so much going on in the game. Do you know how great of a coach Tony Dungy was? But at the same time, he knew that Monty Kiffin knows more or the same amount as me and can run this defense a lot better. Let me manage the entire team. So not that Todd, not that you don't know defense, not that you can't get it done. Let somebody else run it so you can just be effective at running a team. And that's what he short himself on, I think, all the time. And then has to take the brunt and the blame for coming up short at the end of the season's last couple of years.
You said it great there. So I'm going to touch on a little things. The first part, like you said, I always use this comparison for people who may not understand. So you work in Publix. Publix has a general manager that runs a store. That's your head coach. So if your produce department is losing money, losing profits, your general manager has to go over to that area and find out why we're leaking. It's the same thing as a head coach. You go to the whatever position it is. Hey, why is it that? So let me focus my attention over there. And before I go further into that, that's why I played the clip so you could see what Rachaad actually said. He didn't say it because Todd Bowles didn't suddenly forget how to coach defense.
Right.
He'll never forget. He's a Super Bowl winning cornerback, and he'll be an edge in NFL history forever for what he did to the Kansas City Chiefs, for what they did in Patrick Mahomes and them in the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Right.
That'll be in history forever, what they did. So he suddenly didn't forget how to coach his team and stuff like that. I think not listening to you and listening to what Rachaad said on, first off, let me give a shout out to Loose Cannon's podcast for that interview. That's where it came from. Go to them and check that out. I'm thinking of it different now. I think it'd be a good part in his development coming from this year to next year if he did find the guy that he want. Rachaad said it right. So if you got the guys you want in your position, then let them run it, and then you just oversee it. Mm-hmm. Bruce is what Bruce Arians did. We all know Bruce can call plays and he's an offense. But what Bruce did with Byron Leftwich and other OCs, what Brady said when he did with Leftwich, they would come up with a game plan and they would present it to Bruce. Bruce would look at it. Oh, this is trash, or okay, I like it. Okay, whatever. And then they would call it as they see fit in the game. Now, if it became an issue, then he'll step in and do it. I think that's the kind of same thing that Bowles needs to do with the defense, because if you've ever coached or anywhere like that, I've coached on high school and I see it from a different perspective. It's a lot as a head coach owner. That's why your assistants are important. Yep. They need to say like, hey, Blake, you got this over here with this. This is what we're going to do. Yeah, if I got any issues, I'll come and see you on something like that, because he's going to come to you. Well, why aren't your guys doing this?
Right.
He said, this is what we got going on. we're bleeding here. Like, do I need to get somebody else? Do we need to put somebody else in this rotation? What do we need to do in this spot? And I think that's a development part on him. I think coming from this year to next. And like you said, James, it's hard to give up the reins if that, that's what you do, especially when you don't think somebody can do a better job than you. But I think that would be important for him to maybe try to find somebody in there to lead that role. Maybe that's why they kept Larry Foote. Maybe that's why they kept him. I don't know. They might already have that going in the works. Like I said, there's a lot of answers that we won't have for a little while, but I think that would be a huge development in his coaching if he started looking at that avenue, taking a step back and looking at everything. Like special teams need to be addressed last year. He should have addressed that at some point. You at least almost cost you 2 or 3 games with that alone last season.
Bro.
But
man, you're dead on. But yeah, I don't want to see him getting his own way. Like, don't be so prideful that you feel like, hey man, I can do this. You have no point to prove to anyone. Just
you're the head coach.
You're the head coach. Win the game. Put the right person out there that's going to help you have success. Find a person that you trust. Like I said, your system doesn't have to change. And maybe it's something that you do that someone else can help you do better. That's the whole part about it. Like
a different set of eyes.
That's just like if you and I sit down here to talk sports and cover something, you say something to me and help me get a way better understanding and point on what it is we're talking about. To where now, if I go back and iterate it later, I can communicate it even better than what I was going to do the first time myself. I'm always looking to get better. And as a head coach, that's still got to be one of your goals. Yep. You're not going to always know everything.
You're not.
And everyone. And that's just shit. That's just life. That's just being a human being.
No, that's facts. You should always want to get better. Like different set of eyes, different set of ears. So somebody could have a different opinion than you or see something you may have seen. Like I said, I don't think Todd's forgotten how to call defense. Maybe somebody else could see something different because, when last season, going into that Washington game for the playoffs, they were shutting people down in the second half with their adjustments last year. Right. And they had players coming off the couch with all the injuries that they had in the secondary last year.
Yep.
It was crazy with the injuries that they had last season. And they were still finding ways to shut people out. It's just unfortunate they didn't win the games they need to win, especially that Washington game with that fumble on the jet sweep or whatever. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. I think it would be a step forward in his development if they actually did that. And like I said, saying it out loud, I'm thinking like maybe Larry Foote might be that guy because they kept him. They let everybody else go. Maybe he's going to be that guy.
Yeah,
maybe that's something somebody should look into.
Does the continuity of or the turnover, does that scare you about what it's going to be like for these guys, these new coaches continually coming in and out every year?
You talking about Tampa?
Yeah.
Well, I think you and I both have talked about that, and you know that as well as I do. Successful teams have 2 things. They have consistent head coaches and consistent quarterbacks. Every winning franchise has those 2 recipes. The ones that don't, they're revolving doors and they don't win many games. It's a fact. It's not my opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah,
and
that's the part that scares me. It's just like it's too much constant change. It's gonna catch up here sooner or later.
And this question's gonna be out on Baker next year. He's in the last year of that 3-year extension, coming off a horrible year this year. And I said it all the time. I said I fell in love with Baker. I wasn't a big fan of him at first. I fell in love with the guy, but I'm gonna keep it real about the things I think that's wrong with him. I think I like the moxie. I like the swagger. I like all of that. I said, but he gets himself in trouble with taking unnecessary hits. And when he takes these unnecessary hits, twisting his body when he's in the pocket and like all that, just go to the ground. I said, when your knee and he hurts his knee and his ankle, it's affecting his play. He can't drive the ball. He can't scramble. He can't that. And that's what happened. You hurt your shoulder. Of all things, the worst things you could hurt as a quarterback is your shoulders. I said, and that affected his play. I know it did. I guess I'm not riding him too hard about some of the plays that he made where he's underthrown what's receivers wide open because he can't drive the ball because whatever his knee or his oblique or whatever it is, He's not trying to push off. He's just trying to use all arm strength and kind of get enough torque on the ball to get it over the defender. I know that's why that's happened. That's why I'm not riding him too hard. But he is responsible for a lot of it. But that's just my thing with that. That's just a decision they're going to have to come up with later because he's in his last year of his contract. There were rumors that said there were an extensions, talking extension of Baker after this. Then it kind of went wayside. I can't say if that's truly verifiable or not, but that's echoes that I've heard for whatever reason. So that's decision's going to come up in 2020 after 2026 too about your quarterback position because there ain't a predecessor in sight on the roster.
No, and this is not a quarterback draft this year at all. So less free agency. I mean, I've heard so many people say that they always thought Baker Mayfield was a bridge quarterback.
He's a bridge,
and I believe that. And
I mean, it's a bad thing. He's a bridge.
No, not at all. I just think he outplayed
his expectations.
Thank you. Everyone's expectations. He just outplayed the expectations. So now you make it a tougher decision. But in reality, I believe the front office is already thinking about who they're going to look for the following season.
You think so?
I mean, unless he just goes and blows us out. Now, if he would have played the entire season like he did, that San Francisco 49ers game and some of those earlier games in the season, even the Texans game, have some miraculous plays like he did, then I think maybe he does get another extension. But now I think it's going to be tough for that to happen.
Yeah, it's going to say they're going to have some decisions coming up. Do they want to save? Because there's another one. They can save money by getting a younger quarterback. Because you new quarterbacks, you get them 5 free years without having to pay them the buttload of money. Those 5 free years,
right?
You want to go that route and do that? It's tough decisions. Gonna come up after 26, but right now that's what they got to focus on. They got Baker locked in for that season, and we'll see where they go from that. So let me play the second thing, talking about Bucks and all that Rachaad said, and it's regards to fans.
Please stop letting other teams come in that home stadium, regardless if I'm not there or not, and take over that stadium like that, bro. That's just horrible. That's not. Wow. So it's like when y'all talk on Twitter and all that, we just laugh because we can't even respect some of y'all because we don't even feel like y'all real fans because y'all just let the other team come in no matter who it is. I seen a lot of Jets fans in there. Like, come on, man, they gonna win a game. So like, you feel me? No disrespect at that time.
Thoughts, James?
I was at the Jets game. Yeah. And sometimes that shit was so loud. I was like, what are we really at home? Sometimes there's no home field event. I have shout out my man Andrew, Two Giant Goofballs. He's a New York Giants fan. He lives in the Tampa area. He does Giants content. But Andrew always speaks on how Tampa every team almost gets another home game when they come to Tampa. And that's what I said. Like, we have these fans that are so quick to criticize everything, but not yet always show up to show out and help us handle business. And it's been like that. Even when I was back there, when I was playing in Tampa, it's been like that. You can't have it both ways. You can't want things to be a certain way, but yet you're not even there to help do your part to
the bare minimum.
Yeah, to cheer your team on. It's ridiculous.
Bare minimum. Yep. They got the most to say, the biggest mouths. Well, in this case, there ain't the biggest mouths, it's the biggest typing fingers because their voices are on the internet. It ain't in that stadium. It's on the internet.
Yep. Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers.
Yep. Quick. All day. That's Tampa before you, boy. Yep. And he hit it right on the head. When we used to sit around with a couple of guys from the roster, we used to have drinks. We used to talk about that. They talking about they had to go silent count. It was a Steelers game. It was the Steelers game where what's the name got obliterated from getting stiff arm. What? Chris Conte. Yeah, Chris Conte. You remember that primetime game?
Yeah.
They said they had to go silent count in their own stadium. There was a Steeler game because it looked like they were in Pittsburgh because there was nothing but black and yellow in the stands.
Yeah, Pittsburgh fans do travel well, but I remember going to a coming back to a game, and it was Thursday. Was it Thursday night or Monday night? It was a Thursday or Monday night. Jameis Winston was the quarterback. New York Giants. Bro, it was so many New York fans in there. And so loud.
I felt I was in New York.
I was like, what the? And my wife she was like, what the hell? I feel like it's gotten worse later. I mean, it was kind of like that when I was playing, but the resurgence was kind of happening in Tampa once, in those 90s when I was in town. And it was still a little bit better fan base, I think, than, what's happened lately. Because you got to think, what was there before Jameis and, Tampa Bay fans wasn't coming out because there was no real success there for a long time. And so things got to where opposing teams knew they could get tickets to those games and come in and fill up the stadium.
No, I'm sure it was worse back then. The Glazers were paying for their seats with the away team. Like a lot of people. I mean, I've been trolling some of these Bucs fans for a while when they make the comments with they're not coming to the game because Bowles has been retained for the season. I was like, it doesn't make a difference because the away team fans are the ones filling the seats anyway. Yeah. So what difference does it make? You're gonna sell your ticket, right? Or you're gonna sell it to an away team? I'm a away team fan anyway. So I mean, what difference does it make?
Right. So, and at the end of the day, that's just an excuse of yeah. We already know that's an excuse.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, yeah, I ain't gonna get into that, but
right.
Yeah, there's tons. If you're a fan, yeah, you can be mad and upset if somebody. Man, you know how mad I am. And sometimes this team don't pick up guys. I think that fits the system. Like you know how many times I punched the wall watching the Houston Texans with Danielle Hunter make 16 sacks. I wish I could go back and find the clips that I put up. And they wanted a 3rd round pick for him when the Vikings wanted to let him go. I was screaming, "Go get Danielle Hunter!" He's the 3rd round pick. They won a 3rd round pick for Danielle Hunter. I said, you know how much he would help right now?
Boy, crazy.
I remember like it was yesterday. They won a 3rd round pick. And I was in those groups. Oh, we don't want him. He's not that good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We rocking with Chris Braswell. That's what we rocking with. And then you got Hassan Riddick over there looking like Puffy and Mace.
You know what's crazy with him? There were games where I was like, is Hassan Riddick inactive? Is he hurt? I would like pull it up.
Hey, he's starting.
Right. And I would pull it up on the computer, on my phone while the game was on. I'm like, no, hell no. And I was like, well, shit, he out there. Nothing. An entire game of nothing. It was like, whoa, bro. I can't believe this mess. Couldn't believe it. It was disappointing to say the least, because I honestly thought that he had more in the tank. I thought that, you know what, he was a bad situation when he got traded from, the Eagles to the Jets or whatever else. He's going to be better because he's happy to be here. And it just, it didn't happen at all.
Wasn't it? Hopefully he can get that money to somebody else that's going to put in some more production.
Because there's only a 1-year deal for him, right?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, good Lord. Good luck. Goodbye. Good riddance.
Good luck. Yep, this is it. There's a couple other ones that probably should take packing too. Like I said, there's keep spinning the tires on Anthony Nelson. You get some production out of him, but like I said, there's just no consistency off the edge at all. If the name ain't Vita Vea, it ain't happening.
Yeah. I don't mind Anthony Nelson if you have another bigger piece that's actually getting the job done, and then you can use him situationally the way he's intended to be played. You know what I'm saying? But we have to rely on him to do more than what he's really supposed to do, because the people you paid to do it not doing it at all. Blake, when they went and got, and this is my dog, I love Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
You knew where I was going.
I
love JPP. Man, we we had a great conversation when I was back in Tampa at the game with the Jets. You know, me, him, and my son were up there just talking ball and just hollering at him. And I appreciate the player he is, or was. I will say that. You know what I mean? Like the way he got things done, came down to be effective the way he was so many years in Tampa was amazing. When I saw that move, everyone in my house was dying because I just blurted out. I said, "Oh, this is some bullshit. We desperate." And my wife was like, "What?" I said, "Man," I said, "You know me. You know how I feel about certain people." I said, JPP is a player that I love. I love this dude, the way he played the game. I said, but for us to go sign JPP to put him on practice squad and then try to bring you back into the fold, I said, the Buccaneers are desperate. I said, they are running out of all things and know they're getting no production from the people they need to get it from. So, like, one of my boys like, man, I can't believe you slighting JPP. I said, no. I said, I'm
slighting the guys on the roster.
I said, for this to happen, let you further know the front office knows that they have no personnel on the team.
Nope.
And got to go make a desperate move. Oh, man. I still can't believe. I saw that and I was just shaking my head. I was like,
I said that too. I said, you got to be ashamed of yourself if you're on that roster and you're seeing that. It goes back to my favorite clip that I always play with you.
Listen, believe me when I tell you this. You can only get better. And you don't have to worry about getting a hook because I got no one left.
Got no one left. Every time.
You ain't worried about getting a hook. I ain't got nobody left. I love it, dog. Every time I see it, I love it. Willie Beeman.
It's the realest statement. You ain't got to worry about getting the hook. I ain't got no one left. Man. This is it.
Dude, that is awesome. That is awesome.
There's so many great lines in that movie.
Yeah.
I should get a few more and use them, but that one was a great one. I ain't got nothing left. There's no one left. And then he played significant. I ain't gonna say significant. He played a couple snaps out there, but I was just like, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself that they had to go get this man from the couch.
Yeah.
To come in here and try to do your job.
Yep.
As a man, you should be mad as hell.
Yep.
Mad as hell. Yep. Not mad at JPP. If somebody gonna pay me to do that, I'm gonna take that money. Don't be mad at him.
Hey man, me and my boy had to talk about that on one of our shows. I was like, hey man, people were talking about Phillip Rivers. I said, dude, don't be mad at Phillip. He came back and stole this. I said, every veteran player will tell you they stole 1 or 2 years once they get past like year 8. After that, a lot of guys are stealing. JPP, you supposed to, if they're going to offer you the bag, you go steal it. You go take it. It's not his fault. But like I said, the fact that you had to go do it, bruh, that's all to the bad. All to the bad.
I saw that shit. I had to look at it twice. I said, did they really just sign Jason Pierre-Paul? I said, oh, you guys are sorry as hell.
Yeah.
I said they had to do this to try to spark something.
When that ran across the bottom of the screen,
I couldn't believe it.
You do that. He said.
They made it like it was breaking news.
Right, bro. That's not what I thought, right?
Like it was breaking news. I was like, I couldn't believe it, Jan. I was like, y'all ought to be ashamed. You goddamn ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah.
He come walking in there. Goddamn shame.
A damn shame. And people did it with a straight face. Like, what? He's a great guy, great pass rusher.
Yeah, that's what they said. Oh, yeah, he's gonna motivate him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if that's what you believe.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you with the Ron Harper line.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Fuck this bullshit.
That's what The Last Dance. Best line.
I ain't seen that one before on here, but from you. But that's funny as hell right there.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you don't remember seeing that from The Last Dance?
No, I remember The Last Dance.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was about to say. You pulled that one out, dog. That's hilarious. That is hilarious, bro.
Ron met every word. You could tell he met every word. He was reliving it in his head.
Yeah, because he stuttered. He said that clear as day. It was no stuttering in that one. He meant all of that when he said it, dog. He meant all of it.
And they told him that Igalo was going to cover Jordan better in the final shot. That was that Cleveland game where he was in Cleveland and he hit that shot, the buzzer beater.
Right.
That's what he was talking about. And the coach told him, "Nah, we ain't gonna put you on him, Ron. We're gonna put Iglo on him." He's like, "Yeah, all right." And I think he said after the shot, he just stared right at the coach, right at him.
Oh man.
Before we get out of here, what was it? Oh, so what do you think about Harbaugh to the Giants? And then Monken. I said, Monken ain't coming back here. So he was already an offensive coordinator, and you got him out of here. Why you want to come back here?
And don't you think Monken's going to follow Harbaugh to New York?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard that, I was like, that's not going to happen.
That's his guy.
Harbaugh to New York, I think that Giants team might have instant success. It just
they got a lot of talent.
They have, and then think about it. They were not doing horrible prior to Scatterable getting hurt and Malik Neighbors getting hurt. Jackson Dart needs to do a better job of taking care of himself. So I think
like Scatterable.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Harbaugh's the right guy for that team. And I talked about this on Big Game Sports Buzz on Thursday night that I believe Harbaugh went in, met more so with ownership. I mean, yeah, I'm sure the general manager to me has damn near a whole foot out the door. His ass is almost gone.
Oh, so he should have been gone.
Yeah, well, we all know that after the Saquon Barkley trade, I was like, he should have never been back in the building.
Yeah, what was the Hard Knocks where he said, well, I'm going to be upset if he signs with a division team. Not only did he sign with a division team, he won a Super Bowl and was league MVP. Dumbass.
Right, jackass. So I think that's a good move. I think that's the right fit. That's what they needed. I did a real just hypothetically when it happened, should the Buccaneers now fire Todd Bowles for Harbaugh? And no, I knew that wasn't going to happen. But at the same time, I think Harbaugh's a quality coach that a team like the Giants need. They haven't had that in such a long time.
And it's a big market.
I think, and he can handle that big market. If anyone can go and handle that New York market, I believe he can do that. So I think that's a great fit for them.
That's an aspect that people don't talk about either. You got to be able to handle that kind of market. Tampa's a small market. New York is New York, LA. You're talking big time.
Right.
You need a big time coach. And let me say something, the uncomfortable thing that people don't talk about either. Don't nobody want to come here and coach. Let me put that out there. You notice you don't get no big names that come here to coach. There's got to be somebody else's assistant
or up and coming coach, right?
Nobody wants to coach for these guys or this town. So when you guys sit up here and say, "Well, I want this guy," I want that, they don't want to come here, or they would.
Right?
They don't want to come here,
right?
And so everybody be like, "Let's get this guy." You're missing the key part. They got to want to come here.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a chance of getting coaches that could have done something. You had McVay in your building. You had Tomlin in your building already. You let them go big legacies elsewhere.
Yeah, true.
For you know-it-all Buck fans, you had guys in your house already.
And why is it you always hear about talk about they should bring John Gruden back?
57 and 55. A quarterback guru that ain't developed a damn quarterback.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Drives me crazy. Every time I see somebody post a snippet on X, I was like, that's why sometimes I feel like I'm just getting off social media because I believe it's clickbait and it's trying to get me to rage out.
Yeah. And Jamal put a good part on this. He said, you know why that is? Because the same guys got the voices, the 60, 65-year-old, 55-plus club that's still living in the 20 years ago era. That's what the people say. Well, why can't Ronnie Barber or Derek Brooks or somebody coach it? Let them motherfuckers live. They ain't played on this motherfucking turf in years, and you still talking about them. Let it go.
If that was something you're doing it.
The shit is over with.
Right.
The Tampa 2 is over with.
Yeah.
Monty Kiffin, rest in peace, is dead. It's all gone.
Yeah. True.
Y'all still living there. John Gruden wasn't as good as a coach as you thought he was. If he was, he would have uplifted the Raiders, but we all know how that ended up.
Fact.
Tainted emails and a terrible Raiders team. And not only, let's just talk about probably the worst drafter in Tampa, the worst team developer. He ain't developed shit when he was in Tampa. That roster went in the toilet when he took over. 57 and 55. Thank you for the Super Bowl. Thank you for the run. But that is it. That was it. You ain't seen nothing, Tampa. You're damn right. Ain't seen shit since. My God, man. Let it go. And like Jamal said, they got to bring younger guys in here because, like I said, it's the 55 and up club that's still living 20 years ago.
Yeah, very
still
true.
living there. 20 plus years. They ain't even 20 plus years ago.
Yep.
Let it go.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But yeah, Harbaugh, the Giants, good move, good market. Monken's going to be there. I'm not even worried about Monken's going right with him.
Yeah.
McDaniels, Baltimore. I don't think Tampa's going to get McDaniels. I think unless the Baltimore gets another guy that blows them out the water, I think McDaniels is going to coach the Ravens.
Who did Vance Joseph just interview with? He just interviewed today with somebody, and then somebody else is coming in.
My phone. You said Vance Joseph?
Yeah, Vance Joseph just interviewed. It was him and somebody else both interviewed. Vance Joseph interviewed today, and then
Stefanski went somewhere? Did he go anywhere?
I don't think Stefanski went anywhere yet. I thought that he would be the next person after Harbaugh.
Oh, to go there? You think? Oh,
well, I think Baltimore, but I just think offensively, someone's gonna give him a chance. I know. Supposedly, I heard Tennessee was high on Stefanski, but I wouldn't touch that Tennessee job, man. It's just,
hell no. That's another one.
It is a shit show in Tennessee.
There's no structure.
No.
That's the problem. That's why I harp on. I know everybody wants to say, "Oh, you want him because he's a black head coach." I mean, I do like it. I'm not gonna lie, but if he's bad, I'll say he's bad in a heartbeat. But I like continuity. That's how you win. That's how you keep winning. You don't get it by a revolving door. You don't get it by a revolving door. You don't win like that. You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How'd that work out with all those coaches? But look at the Cleveland Browns. Like, I could go on forever, but
Dirk.
I'm not. You said Van Joseph. I don't know. He may not have, because remember, he's got a game to coach.
Well, the interview they said today, I saw it on a ticker on ESPN.
He interviewed for several NFL coaching vacancies, so he did. Tennessee, New York, Vegas, Ravens, and Arizona.
It was the Vegas job. It was the Vegas. They were talking about Vegas.
That's a tough job to take, man.
It is. I think Vegas needs a defensive-minded coach, though.
He needs 5 years before you think about nothing.
Facts.
5 years, not 3, 5.
Can I keep it 100? No brother about to get 5 years.
Oh, we all know that.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark will tell you that. Anybody will tell you that. He ain't gonna get the leg room that anybody else is gonna get. That team is just that. You need 5 years, bro, for that team even to start looking at when as there's no help. What my man Al Pacino say? You ain't got to worry about getting the hook because I ain't got nothing. There is nothing
right
there. You need to go ahead and just trade all your assets. Keep Ashton Genty. Keep whatever little young guys you got, and just keep build from the bottom up. Pick your offensive line, get you some defensive line, and then by the time
no wide receivers at all. But the Raiders have to build from the inside out. They got to build both lines up. Like, to me, someone's like, "Hey, do you think," my buddy Nick, man, he's like, "Hey, do you think we should go ahead and get Mendoza?" I said, "Not unless you crazy as hell."
What's he gonna do?
I was like, "You better trade out that first pick. Trade that first pick. Get more draft capital.
You need bodies,
build
man.
To the draft. You better not. I repeat, do not draft Mendoza.
Don't do it."
Now, I do think that Mendoza is going to be a good quarterback. I do think that. I think
not with them.
Nope, because they rely on him too fast, and he has nothing there to help him.
Just like Cam Ward, there's nothing.
Ooh, God,
there's nothing. There's nothing there. And the problem, like I tell them, is the Raiders aren't a quarterback away from winning. They're not. I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to waste like I said earlier, you're going to waste the free 5 years before you have to pay him. And by the time that's why I said 5 years. And by the time 5 years is up, now you got to pay Mendoza when you guys are trying to win a Super Bowl, and you can't get those big free agent acquisitions because you got to pay your quarterback $50 million. Like Raiders don't do it. If they care about actually changing that franchise, they do not need to draft that quarterback. If they actually care about changing the franchise, they do not need to draft that quarterback. Go ahead and load up. Load up. It's
crazy,
picks.
man.
But
yeah, man,
they're going to do Raider things. They're going to draft him.
You see that going down?
Absolutely. They're going to do Raider things. They're going to draft him. And poor kid's going to get his brains beat in.
I'm sorry. I ain't trying to laugh.
Get his brains beat in. God bless him.
You're correct.
I hope they make me a liar, but I don't see no help in sight.
I feel you, bro.
I feel you. James, let me get you out of here, man. I know we've been rapping. Any final thoughts, James?
Man, I appreciate it. Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, have some patience, have some compassion, and let's be realistic. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been a team that's been skating by in a division that's not very good, and it just kind of caught up with them. We can't keep having the personnel deficits that we have. We've been under the injury bug a little bit, but at the same time, at the end of the day, if you're a true fan and truly believe and rock with that team, then you have to believe in the process of what it's going to take to get better. And it's a continuous process that players and coaches alike are to be on the same page to make this thing happen. But yeah, man, I just ask Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans to have some patience. And I preach patience for them because I know I had to be patient as a fan because I almost lost it several times this year. And I'm glad, honestly, I can say this, and people might think I'm crazy. I'm glad we missed the playoffs opposed to going, maybe winning one or two games and not really being a fully capable team of doing the things that it's going to take to really make a Super Bowl run. Super Bowl and a championship wasn't in the works. Just to say that you won the NFC South 5 years in a row, if it would have happened, it didn't. We didn't need it to. We didn't deserve it. Whenever you got to rely on other people,
you ain't deserve it
to seal your fate. You didn't deserve it anyway. So we didn't deserve a playoff run.
You want to tell them where all your content is, Big Game Sports Buzz and all that?
Man. Please check your boy out. BGSE Network is where we run all our lives. All my shorts, videos, and takes can be found on Big Game Sports Buzz, and my Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff is on Big Games. Well, I take that back. I changed the name to James Canada's Pewter Perspective. So anything I'm talking Buccaneer talk, y'all can find that on YouTube. James Canada's Pewter Perspective.
Yep. Check it out. He's on there all the time, fellas. Him and his what's your co-host name on there? The other guy you got?
Jay Stoggs. And forgive him, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. So he can't help himself.
I'll tell him I'll try to get him some content. See if supposed to interview Kenny Clark. So I'll try to get him some insight on Dallas. So tell him I'll try to send you something from Kenny. If not, try to get him on there with me with Kenny. If he's a big Dallas fan.
That'll work. He'll love that. Definitely love that.
Probably try to get Q2 Williams. You know they got Quentin.
There.
So yeah, looking forward to more content from James. Look forward to more content from myself. Like I said, I'm over my cold now. I couldn't barely talk last time, so I'm trying to pump out content now. That flu bug going around, man. But I'm good now. I'm back in the game.
Yeah,
got my bourbon. Yeah, got my bourbon. I'm back on my game. Yeah, I already knew you had it in the cup.
Yes.
So we always keep something upstairs. The James always love it. We'll get together again. Keep doing what you're doing. Love it. And we'll see you all next time. We'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do is entirely up to you. Y'all stay safe. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons. See y'all next time. Peace.